14 weeks into the mining season, Kevin Beets has finally reached a major milestone. His first gold weigh in the road to this moment has been anything but smooth. Equipment breakdowns, unexpected operational delays, and setup challenges have slowed progress significantly. Despite the rough start, Kevin and his crew have pushed forward, determined to get their operation running efficiently. Finally, after months of effort, the time had come for the crew's first gold weigh-in. The moment was filled with anticipation as they placed their collected gold onto the scale. Kevin had set an ambitious goal for the season: 1,000 of gold. To achieve that, he needed to produce at least 100 ounces per week. The weight on the scale slowly climbed ounce by ounce before settling at a final count of 33. While the haul was worth approximately $882,500 at current gold prices, it was far from the numbers Kevin had hoped for. Standing nearby, Tony observed the result with a critical eye. He knew from experience that a slow start could spell trouble later in the season. The number was only a small fraction of what Kevin needed, and it was clear that the operation would have to scale up significantly to reach their target. Kevin, despite his disappointment, understood that consistent operation was the key to improving their output. More gold would come only if they kept running without further setbacks. As Tony left the weigh-in, Kevin took a moment to reflect. His mind raced with thoughts of what could have been done differently and how they could improve moving forward. The pressure to deliver weighed on him heavily, and though he was proud to have finally started producing gold, he knew there was still a long road ahead. The journey has been filled with setbacks that tested Kevin's patience and leadership. With each passing week, the pressure to succeed mounted. The Beets crew had invested a staggering $2 million into this operation, and for months, Kevin watched the bills pile up without any sign of profit. The weight of responsibility was heavy on his shoulders as he faced the reality of running his own mining site for the first time. He knew that without a successful yield, the financial burden could become overwhelming. Having grown up in a mining family, Kevin was familiar with the industry's ups and downs, but this time he was at the helm. His father, Tony Beets, often reminded him that the first year always comes with growing pains. Kevin understood the truth behind those words, yet experiencing those struggles firsthand was a different challenge altogether. Unlike previous seasons where he worked under his father's command, this was his operation, and every success or failure was his to own. As the season continued, the question lingered: would they be able to turn things around in time to reach 1,000 ounces? The weeks ahead would be a true test of Kevin's resilience and his ability to lead the operation to success. Time was running out, and every decision from this point forward would be crucial in determining the outcome of his first season in charge. Kevin Beets set out on his own mining operation, determined to carve his own path outside the shadow of his successful father, Tony Beets. However, his journey quickly became fraught with setbacks, compounded by challenges from both Tony and longtime friend Parker Snobble. Despite these difficulties, Kevin finally managed to mine his first go of the season. Though the road to that moment was anything but smooth from the start, Kevin faced equipment struggles that put his entire operation in jeopardy. He launched his mining venture using an aging A40 truck, a machine well past its prime. Unsurprisingly, the truck stalled at a critical moment, breaking down right in the middle of his gold mining operation. This mishap threw a wrench into his plans, leaving him scrambling for alternatives. A new fully operational truck would cost a staggering $300,000, an expense far beyond his current budget. With limited options, Kevin turned to someone he thought might help: Parker Snobble. Kevin approached Parker with a proposition, letting him know that he had $100,000 to spend and asking if he could help secure a replacement truck. But Parker, ever the shrewd businessman, seized the opportunity to his advantage. Instead of offering a newer or more reliable vehicle, Parker presented Kevin with another truck that was also 2 decades old, asking for $110,000 more than Kevin had available. Kevin, hoping to strike a better deal, attempted to negotiate, but Parker remained firm. Unlike Tony, Parker ran his business with an uncompromising stance. Even with friends, he made it clear that he wasn't going to haggle. If Kevin wanted the truck, he would have to pay the full amount. Reluctantly, Kevin agreed to the deal, securing the truck, but adding yet another financial burden to his operation. However, Parker did offer one concession. He allowed Kevin to defer payment until later in the season. But there was a catch. Parker made it clear he would collect his money no matter what happened. Kevin now had yet another looming deadline, needing to find enough gold to cover his growing expenses. Kevin's ambitious goal for this season was to mine 1,000 ounces of gold. His plan was to strip 3 acres at the Licks, cut a promising section of land that held the potential for significant gold recovery. However, equipment failures soon threatened to derail everything. Just as the truck issues were resolved, his only dozer, a 30-year-old Caterpillar 10, suffered a catastrophic breakdown. The dozer was crucial for ripping through frozen ground and clearing the overburden to expose the gold-rich pay dirt below. Without it, progress at the Lynx cut came to a grinding halt. An inspection revealed that the transmission had failed, requiring the entire engine to be removed for repairs. Fixing the machine would cost approximately $660,000, a sum Kevin simply didn't have. To make matters worse, he had no backup dozer to keep operations moving. The loss of such a vital piece of equipment at this critical stage of the season was a major blow, further compounding the stress on Kevin and his crew. Each lost day put him further behind schedule, jeopardizing the entire operation. The pressure mounted as the clock continued ticking toward the inevitable deadline. With no other options, Kevin decided to seek help from his father, Tony Beets. Returning to Scribner Creek, he approached Tony with the bad news. However, Tony's response was far from sympathetic. He made it clear that Kevin needed to learn self-reliance and that there are no more freebies. Tony had always believed in tough love, and this time was no different. If Kevin wanted to prove himself as a mind boss, he would have to figure out a way forward on his own. Frustrated but determined, Kevin tried to come up with alternatives. His crew, already feeling the strain of repeated setbacks, grew disheartened. The lack of progress created tension on the site, as everyone knew that time was running out. Kevin had fought through delays, financial hurdles, and mechanical failures, yet the biggest challenge still remained getting gold out of the ground before his financial situation became unsustainable. Just when things seemed dire, Tony and his wife Minnie visited Kevin's site to assess the situation firsthand. However, their visit wasn't purely out of concern. Tony wanted answers. Kevin was behind on payments, still owing his parents a 10% royalty from the leased land. Aware of the financial strain his son was under, Tony finally extended an olive branch. He'd agreed to loan Kevin a $4 million 11 dozer to keep operations moving, and even offered to cover the cost of repairing the D10. Kevin was visibly relieved and expressed his gratitude for the help. However, Tony, ever the businessman, saw an opportunity. He suggested increasing Kevin's royalty rate from 10% to 15% in return for the assistance. Before Kevin could respond, Minnie immediately shut the idea down, firmly stating that they wouldn't impose such terms on their own children. Tony, knowing better than to argue with his wife, relented. With the 11 dozer now in play, Kevin's operation finally regained momentum. The increased horsepower allowed the crew to accelerate their work at Scrier Creek, making up for lost time. The crew, previously disheartened, saw a noticeable boost in morale as they finally began to see progress after weeks of frustration, breakdowns, and financial struggles. Kevin finally reached a turning point. The first gold weigh-in was a moment of relief and validation for Kevin, although the season was far from overseeing Tangible results reassured him that his hard work and perseverance had not been in vain. He knew the challenges were far from over. He still had debts to settle and a production goal to meet, but for the first time there was hope that he could turn things around. The road to success in the Yukon gold fields is never easy, and Kevin Beets learned that lesson the hard way between mechanical failures, financial strain, and the weight of proving himself outside his father's shadow. He had faced a baptism by fire, but with renewed momentum, a dedicated crew, and the support of his family. However begrudging it seemed possible that he could still salvage the season and achieve his long-sought independence in the mining world. After weeks of setbacks, delays, and financial pressure, Kevin Beets has finally reached a key milestone, his first gold weigh-in of the season. It may not be much, but it's an important stepping stone toward his ambitious goal of mining 1,000 ounces before the season ends. Kevin's journey has been anything but smooth. Equipment failures, costly repairs, and financial constraints have made his first season as an independent mine boss a relentless